No, well, you're going back to the same old
Can
problems.
you hear me?
Just get it closed. They'll deliver it.
The Romans continued their oppression of the Hebrew people. Life was hard. John the Baptist had been arrested
Oh,
and
no,
was soon to be killed.
to be tactful.
The future looked bleak. People were driven from their lands. People who were driven from their lands had to beg to eat or join revolutionary gangs. When King Herod died about the time of Jesus' birth, there was a major uprising. Rome sent a legion of troops and caught and crucified 2,000 rebels outside of Jerusalem. People were sick. Mental illness was common. Dark, dark, dark.
Oh, well, you can research it.
It's hard this time of year to keep positive thoughts. It's hard when the dark is all around us and the snow and the rain keep coming. The floods in California and the war in Ukraine.
Last night.
Homelessness is increasing. Old people on fixed income can't face the inflation. Mental illness is increasing. COVID keeps reinventing itself.
What would be
And Congress can't figure out how to tie its shoes. Dark,
Or it may
dark,
need maintenance.
dark.
Not gonna know until you find out, Libby. I mean, I don't want you running, jumping all over and spending money like I did, see, because I got myself hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars out of my pocket.
Where is the light? Why did the writer of Matthew's gospel make the connection with the Hebrew prophet Isaiah, stating that a light had dawned in the darkness? Remember now, the writer whom we call Matthew is writing 60 years after the death of Jesus.
Too terrible, how much?
He had been reflecting on his community's reaction to this man, Jesus. He was familiar with the crucifixion. A lot of study of the old scriptures had been done after Jesus' death.
Preparing your mind for
Studies and reflections
That's what you're saying.
as to what happened.
All right, my dear.
Matthew could see the change in the attitude of those who followed the way. He could see the gift to the people of hope.
You need your stuff, give me a number.
Yes, the gift of great light.
Okay?
And since Jesus' ministry started in the region of Naphtali and Zebulun, it was a no-brainer to connect Isaiah to Jesus.
Well, come on over and whack a piece.
Naphtali and Zebulun were two of the 12 tribes of Egypt who had settled in the lands around Galilee.
Come on over, I'm in my jammy.
These were two of the 10 northern tribes destroyed by Assyria. The people were taken away into slavery, and those who were left were assimilated into other peoples, and these tribes disappeared.
I'll be leaving around.
Dark, dark, dark.
3 or 4 hours.
Where is the light? Robin Wall Kimmerer is a botanist,
Lord Jesus,
professor, and enrolled member
speak
of
in
the
her
Citizen
mind.
Potawatomi Nation.
That would be
In her book called Braiding Sweetgrass, she gives voice to interpreting science through indigenous eyes.
answer from this.
In an essay called Collateral Damage, she and her daughters spend a night on a lonely road with flashlights, picking up salamanders and taking them across a road so they can reproduce where they were born. If left to their own, they would not survive the cars on the road. At the end of the night, she returns to a pond at her home and hears a toad calling from the water's edge. Weep, weep. She says, and I do. If grief can be a doorway to love, then let all of us weep for the world we are breaking apart, so we can love it back to wholeness again. Where is the light? Do you remember in Advent, one of the 4 candles we lit was of hope? Hope for the coming of the Messiah, the Christ child. Jesus started his adult ministry in the dark. He had been listening to his people crying for God to come and to rescue them. So he started healing and teaching. He started by calling several of his friends to follow him. He asked them to get up, get out of their boats, weep for the world, pick up the salamanders that can't cross the road by themselves, to have hope for the future. A Christian blog named Salt says we need to enter into the shadows and listen. We have to listen alongside the traumatized soldier, the desperate refugee family, the isolated prisoner, the heartbroken addict. Roman armies desecrate and destroy the temple, ruining the sacred heart of the world, not just in first century Palestine, but also here and now. For our community today, what desolate shadows are threatening to extinguish the light?